organized attempt is made to combat some wrong impressions which have been sent out, particularly by Wapis and their main spokesman for just the mystery about how distorted versions are given about our religious practices and even social practices. I would like to start with my 10-year continuous experience with the B.P.P. where I was the C.E.O. And by design we saw to it, the Board of Trustees saw to it, I was only a CEO, the Board of Trustees saw to it that no emphatic stand was taken on religious matters. Actually, as the name of B.P.P. suggests, it is the Office of the Bombay Parsi Panchayat for management of lands and property. It has nothing to do with religion. I find that after the two Wapis trustees have come in, they have almost captured the BPP and they are propagating their ideas in a very outlandish manner. Let me start with one other subject, which is about these interfaith marriages. I have gone through and studied our scriptures for the last 64 years. And I don't find any scriptural evidence which says that interfaith marriages are taboo in Zoroastrianism. In fact, the ancient and medieval princes married freely. If you study Haptaniyas, there is a specific para mentioned there which says that we Zoroastrians pray for the safe return of our priests, our Behram and Dastur, who go to our colonies and spread our religion. In fact, there is a praise for them, which itself shows that conversion, by whatever word we convert it, was practiced even in those days, and Zoroastrianism enjoined it. So it is a bogey to say that Zoroastrianism forbids it. One other thing which we must completely blast, this theory advanced by Hajjat and history in particular, that religion and ethnicity are intertwined. There is just no truth to this bogey. I think it's a falsehood, not just a bogey, it's a falsehood. The very fact, as I said, that in Haptaniyas, the ancient Iranians and the medieval Iranians sent their priests to their conquered lands to preach Zoroastrianism, itself shows that religion and ethnicity were not linked. Another thing where I feel very strongly, and we need to grasp this theory of Hajjat and history and the link, that the ethnicity and religion are intertwined. Look at Christianity, look at Buddhism, look at Judaism, look at Islam. This faith is followed by its followers in different continents, and people are of different races. You will find Muslims on different continents of different races. You will find Jews on different continents of different races, particularly the Berber Jews of Africa are totally different from the European Jews or the American Jews. You go to Buddhists, right from Nepal and Burma, go eastward, they are different races. They are Mongol races, but they are different. Look at Christianity, right from southern tip of South America to Russia and everything in between, and go east right up to Japan. The Japanese Christians are totally different race. So there is just no connection between religion and ethnicity, and we must stop this nonsense and blast this nonsense. Another thing which worries me is the absence of Zoroastrians visiting our Anjaris, Apis Behram, or Apis Dastur. Now I am told, I am not sure how far this is correct, but if I again qualify, if it is a bogey created by the B.P.P. and Wapis, that identity cards should be issued to Zoroastrians to establish their Iranian Parsi Zoroastrian lineage. I think it's an absolute trash and nonsense. As it is, our Agyaris have very poor attendance. Most of the Agyaris in Bombay, maybe more than half, are not visited by Zoroastrians. If you introduce this RD card business, I'm sure even the 5 or 10% or 15% to go there will not go there. I don't think there is any need to establish that. One other thing which I want to mention is about one very worrisome factor, one very worrisome situation in the community is about widening schism, the widening gap between Zoroastrians. I am not talking about the economic gap, I am talking of mental or religious gap. Until recently, quite some Zoroastrian associations abroad had printers. There are in a small community, you say even in Singapore had, but I am told now that is not there. Hong Kong has no problem, we have 110, 120, 130,000. But Singapore had the problem. Toronto, which is the largest Parsi Irani concentration outside of India, had this problem between the Iranian Zoroastrians and the Parsi Zoroastrians. I am told, how far this is true I have not verified because I have not visited Toronto in the last 5 years, that is getting patched up. But some of these are still fighting like Zulu tribals or Zulu warriors. We are a microscopic community and we cannot afford to have schism. We must heal the wounds, we must sit down and stop this schism. It was never so, in the last 30-40 years, it has become now more virulent. Fortunately, again I say that some of these overseas Anjumans, and they don't call them Anjumans, they call them associations, have healed the wounds and have patched up the differences, which is a very good thing. But now a new schism has come up, which is very disturbing. That is the schism between WZO UK and WZO India over the admission of non-Zoroastrian spouses into the fold and giving them voting rights or not giving them voting rights. This is a very disturbing element. Two very big organizations, they are not religious organizations, but they are socio-religious organizations of the party, where now mudslinging has started. And I feel that some serious attempts have to be made to patch this up and nip it in the bud. We cannot afford to quarrel, we cannot afford to enrich the lawyers, cannot afford to enrich the courts to a very high court fees. Something has got to be done to squash this schism as soon as it starts. And I hope that the office bearers of WZO UK and WZO India will do everything possible, bend over backwards, short of breaking the spines, to come to an understanding, come to the common table, come to the common feasting table. Another thing I find disturbing is that our high priests are doing little, absolutely little, to strengthen our religion or to enthuse our youngsters to go to the Agyaris and other small orphans, or read our scriptures. There is nothing done, They are totally silent about it. They have to take a proactive role and not just a reactive role. Let me explain two things. One is that no particular attempt has been made, pointed attempt has been made to make our youngsters turn to our religion in the shape of wearing Sagra Kastis, visiting our Agyaris, without being fanatical about it. Let me tell you, in 2005, the Zoroastrian Trust Funds of Europe hosted the World Zoroastrian Congress, and I was one of the delegates, one of the 3 delegates from the Bombay Parsi Congress. And my observation was that close to 90% women did not wear Sagra, going by the type of dress that they had on. I also conjectured, again I say it's a conjecture, that as many as 60 to 70% men did not wear Sagra. So one of the priests from Bombay who was invited by this Zoroastrian Trust Fund of Europe happened to be sitting next to me, and I told him, Dasturji X, instead of lambasting B.P.P every day or every second day, why don't you address this gathering and tell the Zoroastrians, quite a congregation, that Sagra Kastis should be worn, they are like our chain mail, they are like our armor, it is our identity, and we should not abandon wearing Sagras and Kastis. His very frustrating reply was, Behramji, to each his own. I think that was a very evasive reply, and that was not what I expected from one of the leading priests of Bombay. Another thing which